The one question that crosses every girl's mind every day is, what do I do if I am sexually harassed? In this video, we will be discussing on how sexual harassment has been defined as per the Indian Penal Code, the different punishments prescribed for all the offenders, and we will also be discussing what are the immediate steps to be taken if you are sexually harassed. Hi, I am H. Asudha Krichena and you're watching Legal Bites. First of all, Section 354 to 354D of Indian Penal Code talks about the different sexual harassment that a girl can face. Let us now try to understand these sections in simple language. First, Section 354. This talks about assault or criminal force to women with intent to outrage her modesty. It says, whoever assaults or uses criminal force to any woman intending or knowing that it is likely to outrage her modesty, he shall be punished with imprisonment for not less than 1 year, but may extend to 5 years and shall also be liable to fine. Section 354A talks about sexual harassment and punishment for sexual harassment. This section gives the exact acts on what constitutes sexual harassment. 1. Physical contact and advances involving unwelcome and explicit sexual overtures. 2. A demand or request for sexual favors. 3. Showing pornography against the will of the woman. 4. Making sexually colored remarks. Any person who commits the first 3 acts mentioned above will be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years, or with fine, or with both. And any person who commits the 4th act shall be punished with imprisonment which may extend to 1 year, or with fine, or with both. Now Section 354B. This section deals with assault or use of criminal force to women with intent to disrobe. It says, any man who assaults or uses criminal force to any woman or abets in doing such an act with the intention of disrobing or compelling her to be naked, he shall be punished with imprisonment which will not be less than 3 years but may extend to 7 years and shall also be liable to fine. Next, Section 354C. This section talks about voyeurism. Voyeurism is simply the act when any man watches or captures the image of a woman who is engaged in a private act where she would have no expectation that she will be observed. For this act, the punishment prescribed is imprisonment which shall not be less than 1 year but which may extend to 3 years and shall also be liable to fine. Also, if the man is convicted twice or subsequently, he shall be punished with imprisonment which may extend to 7 years and may also be liable to fine. Section 354D. This section talks about stalking. It says, any man who follows a woman and contacts or attempts to contact such woman to initiate personal interaction repeatedly despite clear indication of disinterest from the woman, or monitors the use by a woman of the internet, email, or any other form of electronic communication will be considered to have committed the crime of stalking. For this act of crime, the punishment prescribed are imprisonment which may extend to 3 years or shall also be liable to fine. And on second conviction or subsequent conviction, the imprisonment may extend to 5 years and shall also be liable to fine. We have now clearly understood the provisions of sexual harassment under the Indian Penal Code. The question that remains in our mind is, what do I do if I face any of this sexual harassment any day? The first and foremost step can be informing the internal committee of the organization, school, university, or office that you belong to. In case there is no internal committee, the complaint should be made to the local complaints commissioner required to be set up in every district by the government. One can also complain to the district magistrate of appropriate jurisdiction. The complaint should be in written form and should also be made within 3 months from the date of the incident. The second is She Box. One can also post a complaint on the online portal created by the Ministry of Women and Child Development in 2013. Complaints via She Box are filed directly to the ministry. The third option we have is online complaint to the National Commission for Women. A broad platform is provided for filing a complaint as an alternative to other resources. Fourth is complaint to a police officer. An FIR first information report can also be filed to a police officer at the nearest police station under Section 154 of CRPC. At the police stations, the female victim can look out for a rapid response desk for women, where one can find a female police officer. One should always check the content of the complaint to make sure that there are no discrepancies. No sexual harassment complaint can be refused to be lodged since it's a cognizable offense. The bench of Justice Dhananjaya Y. Chandrachud and Justice J. B. Pardiwala in the case of XYZ versus State of Madhya Pradesh and others observed that in such cases where not only does the magistrate find the commission of a cognizable offense alleged on a prima facie reading the complaint, but also such facts are brought to the magistrate's notice which clearly indicate the need for police investigation, the discretion granted in Section 156(3) can only be read as it being the magistrate's duty to order the police to investigate. This is all for today's video. Thank you for watching, and if you think this video is helpful and can be helpful to any woman like yourself, please share the video. Also give a like and subscribe to Legal Bites today.